Alright, good morning. So today is July 31st. So let's look at what happened yesterday. I said there was a bearish imbalance with the target at 63.72, and so we started the day and we were balancing up here in the same area where value was. Then we tested the single prints. Remember I mentioned there was a double distribution, there was a single print, and then we dumped all the way down to that target, and then we started seeing a little bit of accumulation here, and then we closed back almost at that low. But then there was earnings after the bell, and then we rallied, and now we're opening with a big gap outside of range, outside of value. And if you look at the profile yesterday, I didn't post this because I did it later when I got home, but I had put this 64.69 as a bullish imbalance. The same way that I always do, taking the point of control, measuring to the low to see what the projection would be to repair that imbalance. I got 64.69, and the high of the overnight session is very close to that. So now we could look at this and say, okay, this market is balanced right now. We have a nice excess high, excess low. The only thing that's missing is to retest. To test these highs during the RTH, right? So I would like to see a little bit of excess, look above the overnight high and fail to hold for this market to be in balance, and then we can look at playing this range. As of now, the 20-day point of control is here at 64.06. So what I'm going to be looking at now is, well, first of all, this overnight session has the point of control right here, and has a little bit of, needs a little bit more of excess to the upside if you compare it to the downside, right, to make it symmetrical. So we might see a look above and fail, and then if we fail to hold above the overnight high, I would be willing to short that at least back to this 64 area. Also keeping in mind, I'm going to be watching SPX, because 6400 was a key level with big strike with lots of open interest, a lot of option activity, and we're going to be open right around that number. And when you have so much option activity in one strike, then those areas tend to be magnets. So let's look at what happens once the bell opens, but once the bell rings. But we also have a PMI at 945, so that could give some fuel for maybe a gap fill or a move above the overnight high. Let's see which one happens first. If we get the overnight high first and then get below it, then I will be willing to take a short. If we get a push down and fill the gap, I'll be watching the reaction here at that 64.30. we have the overnight low at 64.31, exactly where the previous week's high is at 64.31. We have the high from yesterday right there, and if we start accepting inside yesterday's range, then I'm going to be looking for a move down to the point of control from yesterday, and then a test of this single print, and eventually the move down through value to close the gap to settle, and value area low from yesterday, which is at 63 what is it, 63.89. So lots of references today. We have very clear references to go from. Now in Q had a huge move up after the bell. Look at this thing, crazy. So, you know, NQ likes those big round numbers, as most underlying. So 24,000 is right around the corner. So if we keep that move up, I'm going to be looking for that. Otherwise, if we start dropping, I'm going to be looking for a gap fill. I said on the notes today that at least with SPX, with NQ, I'm usually haven't tested that, but if you take the opening price and measure it to yesterday's close, usually at half of that gap, right, the gap to settle, there's a reaction when there's large gaps like this. So I'm gonna be watching that. Yesterday's settle for Nasdaq is right very close to the previous week's high and very close to the 20-day point of control on the weekly VWAP. So this is a big magnet for NQ, 23, 485, 490. So this area is big magnet. So watch that in the event of we start dropping. Crude. So crude is accepting higher prices. So 64.80, this area right here, support for now. So keep an eye on this if we drop. And then 71.20 is the resistance area. So I think we're gonna stay in this range. If we lose this 64.80, then I'm going to be looking for 66.85. No, 66.90. I'm sorry. That's a target. And yesterday, if you watch my video, you see that I said that gold could. I thought it was going to test that 33.20, and look at that low right here. 33.20. I wish I would have taken that long because that was a good spot with a stop below this low, but I can't do it all, so can't catch them all, right? So 33.20 tested. Now we're back into the same area where the yearly VWAP, the monthly VWAP, all these moving averages are, and if we are able to get back above this, then target's going to be this 3400 area. I don't know why I have this mark right here. This must be old. So okay, so that's about it for gold. So it's a look below this range, and now it's coming back into the area with most acceptance for this range. Alright, that's about it for today. Good luck.